goes by without the death of somebody who was a loved one, an acquaintance, a true friend, or simply someone whose life has been significant in yours. Indeed, one might begin to sense that with each passing day you prepare yourself against what might happen and how you respond to it. Despite everything, and in the face of such adversity, one discovers hope and opportunity, and hence the creation of Nights to Remember, an arena of journalism where there are no awards. Attention focuses only on the subject.
The thing with Luther, I think that the musicians that came from 50s through to the 80s, and I mean Marvin, Donny Hathaway, Maurice White, all of these great singers, even though some of them had their own bands and whatever. I mean, the newest, greatest was Luther, in a nutshell. From out the 80s, I don't think anyone else came out of that period like Luther. Luther had a way of saying something or singing something that you wanted to sing like him, but you couldn't sing like him, but you still loved the song. Whereas a lot of people, once you can't sing like the person who's singing on the record, we lose interest. But Luther had a way of holding you, like, he made people want to sing, basically. And that's great when you can do that.
I suppose news of passing for somebody that's been so significant in black music, it was a bit of a shock. It was definitely a bit of a shock. We knew Luther had a lot of problems with heart, with weight, but the news of him passing was a big shock, definitely a big shock. You know, and that's one of the artists you've always wanted to meet, you know, and you're never going to get the chance to meet him. Well, not in this lifetime anyway. So I'd say it was a bit of a shock, but still admired. You know, as strong today as he was yesterday and before. You know, so major shock.
It's a bit sad, really, and I have to say that. It is a little bit sad. At the same time, I know if we were able to have a closer connection, we would have been devastated. And Luther Vandross, his funeral might be going on all now. I mean, the amount of people that would have been at that funeral from England alone, would have been incredible.
Do you think you carry the sins of your father?
I definitely carry the sins. I
Let's
can't
break
go
that down.
anywhere without people thinking I'm on drugs. I'm telling you. I'm like, do I look like I carry a straw and some cocaine in my pocket?
Oh,
No.
well, I mean,
You know, do I look like I have a freebase pipe in my hand? No.
Not now, but I didn't meet you
Not
before.
even later.
Really?
If I was, would I be tired in the studio? No. I'd
Maybe.
be up and like, let's go. I
You'd
guess.
be high.
Yes. Yeah, it doesn't work.
Wasn't what happened to your father a deterrent of kind? Because some people literally they flirt, they go away, they come back, and they stay with the drugs.
But you know, for my dad, there were huge issues there that I think that made him self-destructive at times in his life. You know, and it's part of like what I do. Even the book Jokes My Father Never Taught Me is to look at some of those struggles that he had, which is why I have a tremendous amount of love and forgiveness of this man and understanding of who he was.
It was quite love to forgive.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, you know, to be a child, to grow up with your dad who's a genius in the craft that he does, but to grow up in a household that was filled with prostitution, drugs, violence, and to have to see that and be a victim of it because you were unable to do anything because you were too young. And then to get to a place where you understand this is where your father came from. So he sort of perpetuated that and surrounded himself in that same element. He didn't mean to. Had he known, maybe he would have done it differently. I was able to find the love and forgiveness in that and realize he did the best he could do for what he knew.
To be honest with you, it's going to be really hard for me to sum up Richard Pryor in 5 words because I need a whole dictionary to do that. But I mean, Richard Pryor, to be honest with you, to keep it short and sweet, great, fantastic, influential, creative, and a genius.
I suppose you say father of comedy, inspired many.
Funny, genius, tortured, black,
brave.
Richard Pryor, I think, for 99.9% of comedians, no matter what walk of life they come from, no matter what race they are, would actually say that Richard Pryor, you know, was probably the reason why they got into stand-up comedy in the first place, you know. And that's why stand-up comedy now, I think, especially in the UK, is starting to become very popular. People are flocking to shows all the time, and a lot of up-and-coming comedians such as myself, such as Kojo, Victor Daniels, Quincy, Special P, Junior Simpson, Stephen K. Amos, the whole kind of range of comedians that are coming up now, you know, are you know, carrying that and trying to actually, you know, make comedy as popular as it should be.
I don't think that Muhammad Ali set out to be remembered when he first put on his boxing gloves, or that he set out to be remembered when he said, I'm not going to go and kill a Vietnamese person who never called me nigger. And I don't think Richard Pryor set out to be remembered when he shared his painful stories on stage. You know, he just set out to be himself and do what came naturally. So I think that's all you can really do. You can't set out to kind of be some legend. It's got to be an honour that people bestow on you. You can't seek it.